Good afternoon. My name is Denise Meyer, and I'll be your host today for the Max Quoting Module webinar. Today we're going to take a deep dive into the Max Quoting Module, which does quite a bit more than just simple quotes. It can help you with detailed estimating, and it can integrate with your CRM system for full customer relationship management. So let's get started. Today's salesperson has to deal with an entire sales process, which starts with marketing out to raw prospects, taking in that lead and calling and introducing yourself, qualifying the opportunity, and at some point, the prospect is going to ask for a quote. Now, that may be a simple quote, it may be a detailed estimate, but your ability to respond to that quote with accurate and informative and a fast turnaround of information can help determine the close. So is quoting an art or a science? Well, I guess that depends. Are your products standard products or are they custom products? Do you have complex pricing schedules and matrices that need to be considered? Are you quoting new products with bills of material and multiple levels, or are you quoting parts in stock for things like spare parts? Do you have to include large descriptions or sales contracts or even pictures of your items in your quotes, or are they simply a list of items on a quote form? And with all of this, how can you measure your win rate? Well, let's take a look at how you're doing things now. Many customers, when they first talk with us about integrating their quoting processes, are quoting in an offline tool, maybe even something as simple as Excel. Some people are simply sending an email to a customer with a price, but have no way to track that communication or know what prices have been quoted. Then, if you're later in management meetings or conference calls, it's time-consuming to find the data, figure out how that item was quoted. Sometimes you have to have multiple meetings just to come up with the information. And worst off, there are people who just wing it and quote different prices every time, and there's no real process at all. So today we're going to look at a tool that can help you with that quoting process, and that is the Max Quoting Module. The Max Quoting Module is fully integrated with the rest of your Max system, and it allows you to create standard quotations using a form that's very similar to the sales form. So with that, the learning process is very, very easy. The Max Quoting Module allows you to create standard quick quotes, and it also allows you to create more complex estimates where you can drill down to interact with Excel for bills of material and routing information, and even include items that are not in your Max Item Master onto an estimate. For those parts already in Max, it will fully utilize the Max part sales information to pull in part pricing and schedules, standard discounts already established within your Max Sales Order Processing module. And the Max Quoting Module has full support for both feature option configured products and for multi-currency. Max Quoting allows you to quote miscellaneous and non-inventory items, and it's smart enough to know that that won't be pulled from stock at the time that becomes a quote, turning into an order and a shipment. And the forms for the quote are flexible. It uses standard crystal reports, so you can use your sales order form, you can modify it to a new quote form, put your logo on it, or adapt it to suit your needs. Also included with the quoting module is the ability to copy or clone a quote. So if you have quote templates that are used over and over again, you can use the copy or clone function without having to re-enter all line items. You can convert from quote to order. You can drag and drop from quote to order so that if you have a quote template with 20 line items, but a customer only orders 6 of the 20, you can use your shift and control keys to highlight certain line items and drag and drop those from quote to order. There's reporting to manage all of these activities, and for those of you who need full customer relationship management, the Max Quoting Module is fully integrated with Synergy for Max to give you a complete CRM solution. So what is customer relationship management? Well, it's putting the customer at the center of each of your business processes. It's keeping customer focus with all processes. And within a CRM system, there are many components, of which quoting and estimating is only one piece of the solution. But the Max Quoting module is fully integrated with the Synergy for Max CRM toolset, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later and how the quoting and estimating process ties right in. Synergy for Max CRM includes the ability to do account and profile management, sales follow-ups, opportunity management, standard workflows such as literature requests or approvals within the organization, as well as the ability to report with dashboards and drill downs on all of your customer relationship activities. And with all of this, you can access your data, quoting and estimating, and CRM in the office from your desktop or outside the office from any mobile device, any place, anytime, anywhere. And we're going to take a look at the Max Anywhere solution so you can see how you can use a tablet or a smartphone or any type of device to get at your Max quoting information. So let's see it work. I'm going to go ahead and share my desktop with you. And we're going to drill into the Max Quoting module. All right, the Max Quoting is accessed from inside the sales order processing module. And as you'll see here, a quote form looks very similar to a sales order form. The difference here is that when you create a quote, it's not yet placing demand for MRP. It's allowing you to track that quote as an opportunity, manage that full process, and when the quote does become an order, the final order is what will place demand on your planning and scheduling modules. So if you're to take a new quote, I'll click on Quote and New. I'll select my customer. And again, it fills out the full header of the on-screen order form just like a sales order does. If you're quoting a standard product, the Max Quoting module uses all of the data from your part sales file to determine the correct price based on the item that's being sold, the quantity, and the customer that we're selling to. So all of the part sales sophisticated pricing tables are available and utilized with quoting. On a Max Quote, you can quote standard items or you can quote miscellaneous items. So if you have some sort of a service that you're charging for, it can have a standard labor rate and be added to the quote. You can also quote non-inventory items where I'm just keying in an item, and just like sales order processing, you'll get a warning that this is a non-inventory part. But you can also add that to your quote. Max Quoting works with feature options and configured items. So at the time I go to enter a model, I'll be presented with the list of configurable features available on this product line, and I can select which options the customer is interested in with a point-and-click process. Notice that one item here is required, the rest are optional, and some clients will use this process for a very quick roll-up of a quote. Maybe when it comes time to produce the order, this needs to go through a full engineering process, but this does roll up the option prices so you get an overall sale price and allow for quick quote management. Now, in addition to configured items, the Max Quoting module also allows you to estimate products. And with the product estimator, I'm going to double click on the first line item here, and this gives me the ability to drill into an estimate worksheet. The estimate worksheet allows me to pull up a template bill of material and routing, and when I click the Load BOM and Routing button, this is going to read my MAX data files, and in this case, pull in all of the component parts on that bill of material and all of the labor operations on my routing. Now I'm able to change any of the fields here in yellow, so if I want to have a certain markup on a product, I can give a markup. If I have a scrap percentage that I want to identify, I can list that here. If I want to change a labor rate for any operation, I can do so here. And so this is going to roll up the estimate details of this item and allow me to pull in the cell that's going to be my final sell price. If I want, I can go ahead and save this file. And from here, I can do even further edits with Microsoft Excel. So the MAX quoting and estimating capability allows you to interact with Excel. I can pull my MAX quote into an Excel worksheet, and just for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to delete several of these items from this bill of materials. Now, because I'm simply in Excel, I could also add in items that are not standard within MAX. I could modify this any way I wanted. In fact, if you have an Excel spreadsheet that you currently use for your estimating, you can use that as well. And now I'm going to load that product back into my MAX estimate worksheet. And you see the items that we deleted are no longer there. I'm going to take the grand total and apply that, so that becomes my new cost roll-up. And then from here, I can give it a desired markup, and the MAX estimating will figure out and calculate the new unit price for me. So with the MAX quoting module, you have the ability to do simple quotes, detailed estimates, have miscellaneous or non-inventoried items, or configured product lines all on your quote form. I'm going to go ahead and click my printer icon, and this allows me to print my quote. This uses Crystal Reports, and I'm going to send this to the window here. By the way, as of MAX 557, you can now email all of your forms. So if you wanted to email this directly from the desktop, you have the ability to do that as well. And then you'll see here for my configured product line, it's listing out all of my various options that were here. On my estimated item, if I wanted to attach the Excel spreadsheet, I could, but here it's just showing the rolled up price. I don't want to send the cost to my customer, so it's just giving me the rolled up price of that option. And now when the customer is ready to purchase, I have several options. I can click on my quote button and I can convert this quote to order. That's going to take the entire quote and convert it into a sales order. I can convert it to the same customer, or if this is a quote template that could be bought by several customers, I can convert it into a sales order and specify a different customer. I also have the ability to use a drag and drop, so if the customer only orders certain items, I can drag and drop those line items from a quote to an order. And MAX also has the ability to clone a quote, and with the cloning process, you can change the customer ID, so I'm going to clone this, maybe I want it to go to a different customer, and I have the flexibility to use the prices from the original quote or the current prices. So if this is something where a customer bought something several years back, they want to order the same thing again, I can re-quote them for the same items, but do so with the current pricing for these parts. And that'll clone the quote, pull up the current prices, and now I'm off and rolling. So the MAX quoting and estimating module is very straightforward to work with. For those of you who already have sales order processing implemented, the forms and the screens are very similar. but you've got the added flexibility of the estimating functionality to be able to update or modify non-standard items. All right, there are a couple of reports that are available within the quoting module. There's a quote status report that allows you to follow up on those quotes, and a quote variance report available so that you can see how long it's taking to convert from quote to order, and if there are any changes in that process of converting from quote to order. Now, in addition to the standard options that you're seeing here, this quoting and estimating process can fit fully into an integrated CRM function. So I'm going to click here on my Synergy for Max module, and this allows me to do sales follow-ups, manage those opportunities, and drill right into the quote details that I've created from inside my Max framework. Here within the CRM module, I have integrated workflow and document management, where I can schedule follow-ups for any of my quotes or opportunities. This works with an integrated workflow engine. I can manage my sales pipeline or funnel from here and drill into any sales opportunity. Once in the opportunity, I can see the planned amount, a probability or confidence factor, and an expected dollar amount for that opportunity. For an individual opportunity, I can drill into the documents that are linked or attached and see that I've got a Max sales quotation available here. So the Max documents will update your Synergy for Max CRM system so that they're always available inside or outside the office. From within my CRM module, which allows me to manage and track not only my customers, but also prospects or distributors, I can drill right down into my Max quotes and orders. So here you see I can drill into my 900,000 series quotes. I can also see orders or credit memos, and for any quote, I can get right at the details from here. I can create new quotes from inside my CRM module, and it's all updating the same database. So whether I'm creating them within the Max quoting module or here within Synergy for Max, it's all updating and going to the same place. So by integrating the Max quoting module with your Synergy CRM module, you have full 360-degree visibility and trackability of your customer opportunities, quotes, and follow-up actions. Now, what about the subject of mobility? What if you have sales reps that are out in the field and need to create quotes while at a customer site or while at a remote location? Well, you have the ability to do that both within Max Anywhere and within your Synergy mobile devices. So here I'm going to pull up Max Anywhere. Max Anywhere is the mobile access to your Max information that allows you to work with quotes, sales orders, and RMAs. Again, this is reading and working with all of your direct Max information. As I sign into the system, it reads security privileges, and Max Anywhere was developed with the latest HTML5 technology so that it's smart enough to size the system based on the size of your device. If you're working with a smartphone, it will size it to a smaller screen size. If you're working with a tablet, you've got the ability to look up and work with information at a tablet-sized device. Max Anywhere tracks your sales information, your materials, and your shop floor functions, and it allows you to set up favorites for direct access to the things that you use most frequently. But let's go ahead and take a look at our quote history. From here, I can look up quote history for a customer. It'll show me the customer information, the quote itself. I can even convert it into a sales order from within my Max Anywhere application. If I drill into the order number, then I have the ability to see the quote details. I can add additional lines. All of the information is available here. When drilling into a specific part number on my quote, I can check stock by clicking on my inventory tab, or if there are none available, I can see what the lead time is for this item. The full drill down details are available from within the MaxAnywhere module. I also have the ability to drill into my customer information from here. If I'm working with a customer and I want to get a quick snapshot of what their sales summary is, I've got that available right at my fingertips. If I want to visit this customer, maybe I want to get directions or view a map of how to get to their location. And because this is all over the internet, that's very easy to do within the MaxAnywhere product. So here in the sales section, I can look up information. I can also create new quotes or orders. So I can click on my quote button. I can create a new quote by simply selecting the customer that I want to quote. And this allows me to create new quotes, add line item details, print that quote, or email it directly from my mobile device. So within the MaxAnywhere tool, you can create new quotes, you can look up information, and you also have dashboards available where I can look up, for example, my top 10 customers, select the time period that I want to look for. And it looks like my connection has been lost here. So just to wrap up, MaxAnywhere gives you full mobile access from any type of device, whether it's a smartphone, a tablet, or a desktop or laptop device. So what we've seen is an overview of the Max Quoting module, the ability to create quotes, convert them into orders, clone quotes, print or email them from the desktop, integrate that fully with Synergy for Max CRM functionality, and be able to access that information from the desktop or from any mobile device. I'm going to go ahead and return back to the meeting. And as a quick summary, the Max Quoting module allows you to do simple quotes or more detailed estimates. It allows you to quote configured items through the Feature Option Configurator module. It also allows you to quote both non-inventory and miscellaneous items. It takes advantage of all of the standard Max sales and pricing tables so that you don't have to recreate them, and so that maintenance is all done in one centralized location. It gives you the flexibility to copy or clone quotes, drag and drop from a quote to an order, and it provides flexible reporting both with your Crystal reports and with Excel Analytics to give you analytics regarding your quote details. And the Max Quoting module is fully integrated with Synergy for Max CRM as one of the components available for full customer relationship management. So at this point, what I'd like to do is open it up for questions and answers. We do have a fairly large group on the line today, so I'm going to take questions and answers through the chat forum. If you have a question, if you can go ahead and send it through the chat forum, I'll announce the question and then announce it to the group. So I do have one chat question that's come through so far, and the question is the product configurator a separate module or does it come with the quoting module? And the product configurator is a separate Max module. It works with both quoting and estimating and also with the Max sales order module. So if you have that turned on in your configuration, you would have it available for quoting and for sales. but if you don't own the configurator module, it is a separate purchase option. All right, if there are any other questions, you can go ahead and send those through the chat forum. And the chat forum should be up on the top right-hand side of your desktop. Okay, the next question here is, from within Synergy, can I convert a quote into a sales order? And the answer to that is yes, you can convert a quote to a sales order. The Synergy Convert Quote to Order does the full order only. So the Synergy Convert Quote to Order doesn't have the individual drag and drop of specific line items. Within Synergy, it is converting all items on the quote to an order. Okay, here's a question. How do I drag and drop from quote to order? You simply hold down your shift or control keys from the quote, highlight the items on the quote that you want to drag and drop onto an order. You'd have a sales order open in the background, so on your desktop you'd have both a sales order and a quote, and then you'd highlight the line items that you want, drag and drop them from the quote onto the sales order, and it would only include the specific items that you had highlighted. All right, next question. Can the estimator button point to a particular spreadsheet with a preset formula? Okay, so when you drill into the estimator button within the Max detail form, it's going to pull up a standard format for bills of material and routing information. However, on that screen, if you recall, we have the button for Excel. So if you have an Excel spreadsheet with a specific calculation that's needed for your business, rather than start the process with loading the bill of material and routing from Max, you can start the process with your Excel spreadsheet and import that in as a start point. Okay, next question. Can you search open quotes by part number? And yes, you can. You have the ability within either Excel Analytics, or if you wanted to create a Crystal report to look at open quotes by part number, you can do that as well. Also within Synergy for Max, you can see quotes by part number, not just at the header level, but at the individual item level. Okay, next question is, how can we get Max Anywhere? Max Anywhere is a module that was introduced and made available for the Max customer base a couple of years ago now, and it's been very popular. It is an expansion module for Max. The individual seats are just a couple $100, so it's very affordable, but it gives you the flexibility and mobility to get at your Max information from any mobile device. All right. There's a question here on whether I would demonstrate the drag and drop. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and do that because it looks like there's a few of you that were interested in that. So let me pop back into my quoting module. And I'm going to bring up a sales order form. I have my quote form available right here. And at this point, I want to drag and drop just line items 1 and 3 onto my sales order. I'm going to highlight those 2 items. With my Shift key held down, I'm going to highlight those 2 items. It's actually a right mouse click that I use to drag and drop them over from quote to order. So it took those 2 line items and it brought over just those 2 onto my sales order. So again, the process is highlight them with the left mouse click. using the shift and control keys, and then use the right mouse to drag and drop them onto your sales order form. So that's the drag and drop process. I will return back to the chat forum. The question here is there the ability to modify the line item number? When you drag and drop, if you saw it took line items 1 and 3, and because there were only 2 items, it made them items 1 and 2 on my sales order. I cannot just change the line item on a quote or an order in Max. I would need to delete that and add it as a different line item or a different delivery number. Next question is, will screenshots of this presentation be available after the presentation ends? And the answer is yes. We've been recording today's session, and we will have that available on the customer portal, or I'd be happy to email a copy of it to you at the end of today's presentation. Okay. Go ahead and send your questions through the chat forum. Okay, the next question said, what version of Max are you using? It doesn't look like mine. And I am using Max version 557. That's the latest version of Max, and the updates are all available from the customer portal. Here's a question. Can I quote a prospect from within the Max module? So if you're using Synergy for Max for all of your CRM activities, and you have prospects or leads or suspects that are within your Synergy CRM that are not yet within your Max customer database, the answer is yes, you can quote a prospect from within Max. So when you're integrated with the Synergy CRM module, Max will browse the list of accounts, including prospects and leads, and it will allow you to create a quote for someone that's not yet in the Max Customer Master. And then when you win that quote, there is a process. When you're integrating Synergy and Max, you would convert the prospect to a customer, which will then add it to your Max customer database, and convert the quote to an order. All right, next question is, can Synergy and Max Anywhere be used offline, not in the office or not on the web? For both Synergy and for Max Anywhere, those are full web applications, so you do need to have internet access in order to access them. They do work, however, on any desktop or laptop device, so it doesn't have to be a smartphone or a tablet. Both Synergy and Max Anywhere will work on any type of device. All right, next question. Okay, so the question here is, if you're not using Synergy for CRM, can you have a free-form customer that you're quoting to? And if you're not using Synergy CRM, Max is going to require a customer master record for the quote to exist. My recommendation there is that you have a single bill to address, which would be for prospects, and that using the standard functionality in Max, you have the ability to modify the ship to address, which could then be the prospect name and information. If you're printing the quote form, you could print that ship to address as the main address on the quote form. All right. There's more questions in regards to the feature option configurator for Max. If you are interested in that, probably the best thing there is to follow up with your account manager. We can get you a data sheet or have a special demonstration for you in terms of how that would work with the product configuration requirements for your company. right, a lot of great questions, gang. If you have any further questions, go ahead and submit those through the chat forum. Any final questions, go ahead and submit those through the chat forum. Again, today's presentation is being recorded, so if you'd like a copy of the presentation, you can email your account manager or email me, denise.meyer@exact.com. Here's a question: can quotes have different labels once closed, i.e. whether they're won or lost, etc.? In MACS, a quote will have the status codes, just like a sales order or other orders within MACS. It uses a life cycle of 1 to 3 as an order status code. So open quotes are status 3, closed quotes are status 4. My suggestion for different labels is that you use the user design fields, and those are all available with MACS quotes, just like they are with MACS orders. On a quote, you can have different status codes that would be available. You can also identify things like competitors if you want to include that kind of information on your MACS quotes. And then, of course, if you're using Synergy for MACS CRM, you've got much more flexibility and fields available for managing and statusing that opportunity. All right, any other questions? Some of you may already have the MACS quoting module in your configuration. You can go into the user security, turn on the security if it's not already on or available, and go ahead and start using the quoting module. For those of you who don't have it in your configuration, contact your MACS account manager. The quoting module is an expansion module that's available. That would be happy to get you further details or talk through your specific requirements. And by the way, there is currently special pricing that is available for the second quarter for the MACS quoting module. So anyone who attended the webinar today, contact your MACS account manager and they'll discuss the special pricing options available for you. Well, here's a great question. Can you quote a repair? And the answer to that is yes. So with repair quotes, that could be something that works together with the MACS warranty tracking module, where perhaps you get the cost of the repair based on the order bill of materials and routing from that repair process. Or maybe you just have a repair item that's a non-inventory or a miscellaneous item. So yes, you can quote a repair. All right, any final questions? Okay, here's a question. This person came to the presentation a little late and wants to know how to get to the quoting module. You get to the quoting module from inside sales order processing. That's one of the options available in the sales order processing module is quotes. If you click on activity and go into quoting, that will get you into the quoting module itself. All right, any final questions? Looks like no final questions, so I want to thank everyone for participating in today's webinar. I will make the recording available to all of you, and if you'd like further information, please give your account manager a call, and we're happy to discuss your specific requirements and what would help you with better improved efficiency with your quoting process. So thanks very much.